Progress Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, August 18 preview of midweek racing from Kensington and Sandown Hillside. Beaver, how did the weekend treat you?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad a weekend. I think at the end of the day, Daggy, I think mixed and matched a few winners, and I think we got one of the quaddies, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we might have just
Caulfield.
See, we got Caulfield.
Yes.
Thanks to Pintoff, but and might just miss Sydney, got the earlier ones. But yeah, the big news out of the weekend was my significant other made it to the last round of the pick 7 for racing.com. Had La Mexica, only one in Australia with La Mexicana, and unfortunately let her down. It's only $100,000 different if you need it.
Yeah, that's right. Be good for some, wouldn't it? Unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe it. Heading into the last pick 6 winners in a row and going for the pick 7 with La Mexicana. And unfortunately, it was a bit of a disappointing run, to be honest. One of our horses that we have a good opinion of. And yeah, just as you said, didn't travel. I still thought at the top of the straight it sort of looked to pull out as like it might run on, and just never gave anything.
No, well, even there was a couple of times last prep it didn't travel that kind of, but she still hit the liner right and just didn't find a lot. So
yeah, I just wonder if it got a bit cramped for room, and that didn't suit. That was the bit that I like when I was watching it in running. I was a little bit concerned that it was getting a little bit tightened, and then the thing came up on the outside, and I just wonder whether that bothered her a bit and just made sure and just meant that just sort of gave up a little bit because it didn't get that room in running. So that was the sort of only thing I could take out of it.
Yeah,
but you found Elephant. That was an amazing win. As you said, they don't bring them
here. Be on the way to,
I think so.
Memsey or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got better in store for it.
And Ingratiating was also very impressive. I think we both found it. And,
outstanding.
The girls were good, actually. The two I mentioned at odds around second and third behind the favourite in the girls' race. So he was able to put together bits and pieces throughout the day. Hopefully people found a bit along the way. But we roll on. Anything to follow? Anything you want to follow apart from the obvious?
Oh, look, I thought Elephant was just outstanding. I think that would be definitely a horse to follow out of the day if I had to pick one.
Yeah, just chimed in and raced away. It's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And I think
Ingratiating. I think it'll get further too.
Definitely. Ingratiating staying down south will be if in those 3 odd races, it's going to be something good to beat it down there. But we see,
and of course, Behemoth got up on a protest.
Yeah, which was good for my pocketbook. I don't know if necessarily I didn't see the head on, but I don't know if necessarily I thought it did more damage to itself, but obviously students didn't agree. I thought it laid in a little bit and was missing a stronger rider.
Yeah, I think that's the case, but it did look like the leader did duck out a little bit or just drifted out a little bit. And so there might have been a bit of both. And Behemoth was certainly getting better, probably should have won by a length. So, yeah, without seeing the head on, can't comment too much. But, yeah.
No, I was quite happy with that. As we said before, I don't think we can take a lot out of Kembla. I would want to see the Randwick form before that. And a couple of nice wins up in Queensland. A couple of horses we could probably keep following. What is it? Crimson Auntie. Who's the Auntie horse? That was pretty impressive again. And there's another one.
Champagne Auntie, wasn't it?
Champagne Auntie, yeah. There's a couple up there I think you found on the Friday. They'll stay up if the tracks stay dry. I think that form will hold up well enough as well. So bits and pieces all around Australia.
Certainly was leader dominated up there. They controlled the pace and then they just kicked away. It was too hard to come from behind.
Yeah, so we'll get into. We've got more spring racing coming up this week. I believe the first Group 1 of the spring is coming up on Saturday. We'll do the Friday show, of course, with the Wink Stakes. So we'll look forward to that. Stick around for that coming up later in the week. But let's get into midweek racing, where we're at Randwick Kensington in Sydney. The rail is in the 5 metre mark on a good track, and we know what we get with Kenzo now. It's the first few races you're comfortable to be on pace, and then by the end you want to be slingshotting down the outside. We kick off with the first 4 races are all over the 1,250 metres, so a nice easy day for the barrier boys. The girls maiden, the young girls over the 1,250 kick us off. Beaver, do you want to lead us away here?
Yeah, it's a pretty big field here. I think there's what is there, 14 or 15 runners here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a pretty wide market, but I think Hawks has placed the favourite here, Yearning here to get a kill. I think they think it's a bit better horse than this. Its first two runs were in much more difficult company than this. So resuming here, trialled okay, looks ready for a good first up run and drawn well in 7 with Abdullah aboard. Can't see any reason why it's not the hardest to beat. The market represents that. Outside of that, you've got a few that have started that haven't shown a lot, and then a few first starters. So unless there's something out of the blocks there, I think Yearning's the one to beat.
Yeah, as usual with these, you set out trying to get it beat, or at least I do, and I couldn't find a great deal. I thought the trials were both pretty nice. I thought the form, obviously chasing Ashim, is okay, and then went to town in a decent race into Percy Sykes, so not far away there. I think this will be, as you said, the kill, and I'm actually pretty happy to start the day backing it.
Yep.
The second is the boys version, the 3-year-old boys over the 1250. We talked a bit about Greater Harlem last week. Are you sticking?
Yes, second favourite here. No reason around the 460 mark now, give or take. No reason why you can't win this. It's not a. It looks again pretty open field. Plenty of value in it. I thought it looked hardest to beat. Probably the main danger. All England from the Snowden yard.
Mm. Just one, it's not really outside the market. Around at $7. Both trials of Fire were pretty good too. If that is on pace early, that might be the one to throw in with the favourite there. Led up, made Remark work to beat it in a trial. Remark obviously had no luck last time. If it gets a lead, we'll see what AC Express has to say about that too. But if it gets a comfortable lead, it's trialled well enough to run well here. But Greater Harlem, I think, is coming back as a reasonable horse. So they're the two I look at. All England was the bigger flashing light. Whether it already wants a little bit further was perhaps a question mark for me. Again, the 1250 benchmark 72 now, where we see a lot of our old favourites here, but I'm going to go super effort. It was probably almost a tragedy beaten chasing Fast Coney on a Saturday. Chimed in and just had its run completely chopped out, regathered and ran on pretty well. Chasing Fast Coney, as I said, has often gone up the fence, and J Max sticks here. Happy to follow that from Little Akihiro. Good luck to the connections there, or fans of the show. Comes to town off a win at Kembla. J Max on Akihiro, I should say. J Ford's on super effort. Off the win at Kembla. Don't know necessarily about that Cobia form, so I'm actually pretty happy to back the one back from the Saturday here. Super effort, Beaver.
Yeah, I thought the same. It's third up after a spell, win in a second, coming back in grade, coming back into the midweeks from, there's a little bit of money around for it. It's drawn well. And Fast Coney would win a race like this. So outside of that, you've got horses like He's a Hot Shot, third in the market, hard to get. If there's going to be an improver, maybe Granado from the Wallace stable, about the $8 mark might be the main danger, but super effort for me as well. I think it's a good play around the 350 mark at the moment.
Excellent. And again, over the 1250, we get the girls' version, benchmark 72. $1 billion baby, the Saboog filly, I'm Invincible filly, comes back here. I don't know about the trials. They left me a little bit unsure. So maybe it is better than these. It is off a bit of a spruik, but I didn't quite know where to turn after that. Miss Baltimore's been in lesser grade, but seems to have had them covered pretty comfortably. Maybe able to come to town, a mare in form and run well. But I just wasn't sure to make of this favourite.
Yeah, the trials were against old horses,
Yeah,
so you got to keep that in mind. And so now coming back against its own class here, and it was it was given a fairly easy time.
Old Hardheads, Lalude, and Seasons, was it? I think off the top of my head, one of the.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So I think that untapped 2 wins, Snowden usually prepares these horses pretty well. It's got to be the hardest to beat. J-Lay was very nice last start. It was a really good win. Was well backed and showed a really good turn of foot, powerful finish. I think these two have got it between them, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, fair enough too. That it was a very nice win as well. J-Lay chiming in there. Race number 5, we get out to the 1800 meters, the rematch of Katea and Yukon, and we throw in, my old friend Bazooka just for good measure. Beaver, are you deciding one way or another?
Well, there's 4 genuine chances here. Katea got too far out of its ground last start, and just could not make up that ground.
That was that wind day where the outside runner, I thought at least, was getting buffeted.
Yes.
The whole way up the straight too.
So, I'm willing to forgive that on the basis it doesn't get further out of its ground and that, there was a little bit against it. Bazooka, again, another lovely run. Last start, got too far out of its ground, finished on really well. I just can't take it until it wins.
Yeah,
Yukon bounced back and showed that it's capable of a nice run, probably sits a little bit closer. But Dream Runner is flying at the moment as well. It was a really good win in the highway last start. Was a nice second prior to that. Just a bit worried about the draw out in 14. But certainly not without a chance. I can't see anything outside of those 4 winning this. I've gone for Katea purely because I backed it the last 2 starts, and I'm happy to stick with it at this point in time. And main danger, Dream Runner.
I was with Katea too. I'm forgiving it last time. Before that was dominant on Saturday. J-Max sticks. Inside draw as well. It goes for, I think, will be much closer from that inside draw with the Wallace stable. And alternatively, from gate 10, I don't know where Yukon is going to want to be. The Hawks tend to want to go back with their horses. So, and brought in the apprentice on. So backing J-Mac to get it into a reasonable spot and to be hardest to beat. And we've mentioned all the chances. I won't repeat that. But Dream Runner off the highway might go back as well. Now Tommy Berry, Kenzo might drag it back. And Bazooka might be able to sit closer than it has been. But I want to see, as you said, now I want to see it. I've fallen in a couple of times there. So I was tipping Katea at Kembla, and I'm happy to probably take around $4 tomorrow at Kenzo. The 6th of the day is the 1550-72, and I will straight up say I do not have a clue here. Beaver, to you?
Yeah, look, I looked for a bit of value in this race because I thought it was pretty wide open. I've come up with Sacred Command from the Wallace stable.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a New Zealand horse that's been brought over into the Wallace stable. Prior to coming here, ran a decent second, went in the market at Te Rapa, then trialled okay at Rose Hill over the short course behind Blazing and Rock. About a length or so off those. No reason why it can't perform third up in the Wallace stable in a pretty weak affair.
No, cool. Any DFE, any different form is probably good because a lot of I wasn't interested in much of the up and running. And Favreau is back off the 3-year-old staying stuff, which is obviously better grade. But wide gate Bowman trials were nice, but big weight Bowman wide gate. Whether they have any intention to want to try and do anything here, or it's a warm up run for something down the track, would be my concern given its favourite. It's a sort of horse. If it was $12, I'd be pretty keen, and as favourite, I don't want to take that chance if there's no intent there. We finished the day 1100 meters. Again, I don't have much of an idea here. Obviously we had a bit of time for Jojo as a man last prep, but the trials again weren't fantastic. They were again against the older horses, I think. Smart Image, and then Lalude again, but it was ridden out. Did trial much better, I thought, last time in. So question mark there. If I had to pick from the up and runners, I'd say Misty or coming back from that 1,000-meter race week, stayed on a fence, and then all the swoopers came down outside, might be the one there. Maybe even Neon Knight if it gets a lead here. Didn't have the greatest of time in that same race. How'd you line them up?
Yeah, I was happy to play Jojo Was a Man. I thought its first up win was very good. Then it ran a nice fourth at nice enough behind Kiku, who was flying at the time, and that was on a heavy track. So it went from a good track to the heavy track. Its first trial was on the soft track, so I'm willing to forgive that. Didn't do a lot in the last trial, but it was only 2.5 lengths off them. which isn't far in a sort of that 1,000-meter race. Presented here over the 1,100, probably sharp enough for something like this. If it's got anywhere near the ability that we thought it might have had last prep, it should take care of these. Nash is a good booking.
Very good. For progretracing.com.au, of course, check them out for their free tips and extensive guides. Your best and value at Kenzo.
My value bet comes up in race 6, number 11, Sacred Command. Thought that presented reasonably good value. And my best bet of the day came up in race 4, number 9, Billion Dollar Baby.
Excellent. I'll make my best super effort coming back from the Saturday. And my value, Fire, the Hawks horse, maybe on a day can roll long and around $7 or $8 give us a bit of a sight on the pace there. We head down to Sandown Hillside where the rail is 9. Soft track at the moment. I want to see it be able to make ground. Generally, you can Hillside, but once that rail gets out, sometimes it's played recently a bit on pace. So we'll just be tread a bit wary early and watch for that. We kick off with the 1,400 meter maiden race 1, where I didn't have a great opinion. Did you want to back any here?
No, I didn't have a great opinion here purely because I was a bit uncertain to how the track would play. I mean, Barb Raider was juicy odds at its first start, but was a fairly impressive run. When you go back and have a look at it, had no luck, was pretty much out of the running around the sort of 600 to 500 meter mark, and then produced the fastest, I think, 400 and 200 to go pretty close in that race. Probably settle a little bit closer here, maybe, given what the track might be like, and that might be a telling factor if it can produce that finish again. Outside of that, I couldn't really find too much, or just wary of probably the O'Brien too.
Yeah,
probably the first starter with Carawood.
That was a couple of question marks had, but the way Barb Raider picked up, it didn't just sort of hit the line. It was barreling other horses out of the way to sort of charge through by the end of it. But big starting price and just where it gets to gate 1. What Craig Williams is good at in these maidens, though, is if he's on the best horse, he just puts it right there. And if you think you've got an opinion of it, generally tends to get a breakthrough for it. So I guess we'll watch and see, and it can give us a bit of an idea of how the track's setting up. Race 2, 1,400 meter benchmark 64, where I'm going to go with the Saucy Horsey. Off the wind from Donald. It looked pretty impressive chiming in with plenty in hand and running through the line to beat, speaking of the line, Sea Line, down from Wyong, who sat 3 wide there and was pretty impressive and brave through the line, and might not have to be overly skilled to beat the rest of these. So they're the two looking to play. No real spoil in that, but that's how I've lined them up. Beaver, what about yourself?
I've gone against you here, mate. I've gone for Sandy Prince.
Okay.
From the Hayes stable. I really liked the way it won last start, and there was nothing wrong with its first up second. Lightly raced, only had the 4 runs, finished last one, 3 in the prior to that. It was only a small field at Maui, but it took care of him really easily, and was a nice win. Just kicking away and just holding a handy lead, and never looked in danger. So I expect it to sit up on the pace, probably hit the front somewhere, and it'll be battling out in the finish.
The third is the Class 1 handicap over 1,300 metres. Who are you playing here?
Yeah, tricky affair. I've gone for the 2, Deal Blaster. Third up in this. Really nice win last start at Echuca, where it was started favourite. Won by 4 lengths. Had the lovely run, but really put him to the sword. And this is harder, but it's got a bit more fitness and a bit of edge. And prior to that, finished 3rd behind the Garden and Sandy Prince. So you'll get a good line out of the race before on how that's going, and it trialled well before that. previously up in Brisbane, so they've brought it here. Yeah, I think it's a really good chance.
Cool. I was sticking with the market here in Verenskova. Chased the tearaway winner. Yulong Code pretty well last time. It had a bit to do. Gate 11. By this time would be track dependent, because if they're not making ground, I wouldn't be interested, especially the price. But if they are, if it's playing like traditional hillside, I'm probably happy to back it. And I thought the value here, we want to see it actually do something at some point, was Montana Flash, who's been in and around some decent horses its whole career, but we probably need it to do a bit more than just run fourth in some of those races. So I'll have an eye on that one. Staying race, 2,400 meter benchmark 64 is race number 4, where I'm going to stick with Eaglemont. Led up and on that bog and was grabbed by a reasonable horse that had conditions probably to suit as well and was well backed. I thought it was pretty brave. And I think back to the dry suits, claim gets in okay. And I just think it's better than a benchmark 64 horse. So I'm happy to back it. I think it's still a backable price because this is a long tail. And that's all I really want to say about the race.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have too much more to add. I actually think it's pretty good price at the moment at $3.70. I think you're right. I think your summation, if it's going to win a race, this is it. If it doesn't win this, forget it. It's not worth a pinch. So based on that, you've got to probably play again. And yeah, I think it's got to be the hardest to beat.
Race number 5, over the mile, benchmark 64. Again, I'll be looking to see how the track's playing. But if it is playing all right, I'm pretty comfortable backing Lady Doro again here. Chased Godeline over the mile here, who went to town and ran okay the week before last. And if we're swooping here, I think it's the best swooper. Happy to take on the other favourite who's drawn inside and probably will be back and needing a bit of luck from there. So, yeah, Lady Dora on top for me. Josh Richards rides quite well. And as long as all's in order, I think it can run very well here. What about yourself?
Yeah, I thought the same. I thought just drawn out a little bit wider helps. Gets it in the running line. The 3 kilo claim's huge. Brings it into the 60 and a half. And been running well enough and in good enough form to be hardest to beat in this race. That $4 mark looks nice, and yeah, happy to take the favourite on a little bit.
Yep, very good. The 6 is 1,800 metre benchmark 64. What are you doing with this favourite here?
Yeah, interesting. Certainly looks hard to beat. I think it found a bit of trouble last start.
Just took
and
forever
probably
to
should have
wind
finished.
back up. Yeah.
And it took forever to wind back up. So prior to that was pretty good in some of its other races. Third when it was over an unsuitable distance behind Hosier. Then won well at Werribee, and then just had a little bit of a checkered passage and had to sort of get going again, and that didn't really suit. I don't think they'll have those problems tomorrow. Drawn in the 5, the big spacious space, 1,800 suits. Yeah, I'm willing to back Aqualeon in this field again. That doesn't look to be a hell of a lot of depth to the quality in this field. Awesome Sun was good last start, but yeah, it's got to step up now and come off the back of a win to do it again here.
Yeah, the short story is I couldn't find anything to beat it. And I think up in distance suits now. So that was everything you've said. On top of that, I was probably happy to back it. We'll see where it ends up in the market, but I think it's the only one I would be interested in this race. So the question will be whether I want to back it or not. Race number 7 is the 1,500 meter benchmark 70, where we saw Worsfold be a tragedy beaten last start. Probably should be undefeated this prep. Will Price goes on, so a bit of a claim, nice enough gate, and the horse to beat from the freshened up Nick Spur, who had no chance just before it went out for that quick break, and will be much better suited, hopefully, by the way Hillside plays tomorrow. The only two I was really looking at here. What about yourself?
Yeah, I was the same. I probably just placed Nick Ausper just slightly in front of Worsfold. Uh, Thought it might get a little bit better set up here, and yeah, freshened up, due for a win.
And we wrap that out with the 1300 meter benchmark 78. Do you want to take us home?
Yeah, I think we got the winner here. The
Yep.
favourite in the last, Impecunious, should be winning this race. Has way better form than most of these. They're fairly inconsistent lot here. Wilmot Pass hasn't won for I don't know how long. Lavina hasn't been good the last few starts. Excelito fits into the Wilmot Pass class. So Carlahead was okay last start, but Impecunious looks for me the best bet of the day.
Not much to add. Best bet of the day. I was giving it a chance in those races when it went up to take on Hungry Heart and Co. and then went to the Oaks. Probably a bit disappointing itself, but was very unlucky first race in Sydney, and that is much, much better than this. I think this is a group or listed class filly resuming on a Wednesday, and you're getting $2.52. What should go round? Yeah, easy best bet of the day, and I'll make my value on the day. I struggled to have any really at value. So Lady Gyro, I suppose, just in terms of taking on the favourite, was, for lack of a better term, some value there. What about yourself? Best in value?
Yeah, Impecunious is my best in the last, race 8, number 4, and my value comes up in race 3, number 2, Deal Blaster, at the $10 mark.
I like it, Beaver. Have you got something for us up north?
Yeah, had a quick look up north, and pretty tricky affairs up there. I thought race 2, number 5, Shijin will be hard to beat, around the even money mark. And then my other best bets of the day up there, I'm just got to find them. Race number 6, Fatisse Francais, flying at the moment, won its last 2 starts. Looking for it to back up and make it 3 in a row. And then I also thought in the last race, number 3, Chompers, around the $4.50 mark, could be super hard to beat as well.
Very good. Get your teeth stuck into that, punters.
Yeah.
Good. See what I did there. Good luck tomorrow, punters. Stay safe for everyone getting through lockdown. Good punting tomorrow, Beaver, and I will see you Thursday for our Saturday preview of Group 1 racing. It comes around quick, but we're all over it here at progroupracing.com.au. Take care, and we'll see you soon.